Welcome, everyone. We will begin the webinar on SCRS Guide to Resources and details about the Blueprint Optimization Tool. I'm Melissa Jolls with RDA Impact. Aaron Schulenburg, Executive Director for SCRS, is your presenter today. The presentation will take approximately 50 minutes. We are recording it and we'll post it on the YouTube channel. If you have questions during the webinar, you can type them in the chat box at the bottom right of your screen, and Aaron will answer them during the presentation. Now, I'll turn it over to Aaron.
Melissa, thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. I want to say thank you to both you and Robert for all you do for the industry and in pulling together programs like this. It's really an honor to be a part of, and I'm looking forward to talking with your group. Melissa and I did speak about it. You are more than welcome to ask questions throughout the presentation. Just notify her through the system, and I'll be glad to answer them as we go. So really, the goal of this was to give a little bit of background behind the resources that SCRS produces, who we are, what we do, how they can help you in your business and the businesses that you serve. And then we will spend some time going through the Blueprint Optimization Tool, which I know everybody is really excited about coming to the market. So just first, a little bit of background about SCRS. Our board is made up of volunteer professionals who are all dedicated and passionate individuals who work day to day in their collision repair businesses. And they volunteer in SCRS because they believe that together we can all make a difference. There's really no more vocal advocate for collision repairers than the Society of Collision Repair Specialists. And our leadership really provides a collective voice of the industry and demonstrates strong representation on important issues that are critical to the livelihood of collision repairers. That communication is really grounded by the voice of our membership. It's fostered respect and credibility, both within the industry and with others who we interact with. And it's important to us that we've cultivated a strong relationship between our state, national, and international affiliate associations. And all of that is due to the people that we work with. So SCRS was formed in 1982. It's the only national trade association that's spent the last nearly 4 decades being solely dedicated to collision repair issues. We were founded with the principles that through working together, we can inspire positive advancement in our industry. And it provides repairers with a strong presence and that extensive grassroots network that I mentioned earlier. But most importantly, we take a lot of that, those ideas that come from our members, we take a lot of the feedback that come from our volunteer base, and we try to put them to use in beneficial resources that are going to make a difference for those businesses. So that's where we're going to spend a lot of time. Because SCRS is connected and directly involved in so many key industry issues, and because of our ability to communicate, we're often the first to know and understand about pressing issues facing the business and try to put those to use in a tangible and positive way. And we also often have a first glimpse into some of the stories and events that matter to you and the businesses that you sell products to, or for the body shops on the line, for those who are operating in a collision repair facility. We're constantly looking to find ways to improve the industry, and honestly, we encourage each and every one of you, as you interact with customers and have feedback, to keep an open line of communication with us as an association. We really like to believe that we are able to keep a finger on the pulse of the industry and to share that with the membership collectively because of those relationships that we have, and we hope that you will all be a part of that. So one of the resources that we have are live webinars, much like this one that RDA has put together, where we can share information. And I do wish to share with you specifically about one that we have coming up next week. I'm hoping Melissa, and I believe Melissa has shared it with many of you, but this is a great example of where SCRS thinks a little bit outside of the box and tries to pull together resources that may be different than you may find in other areas. Our presentation next week is looking at how professional restorers deal with, and you see the word disinfecting in quotations there, deal with disinfecting vehicles. The reason we did that is because we see many collision repair businesses talking about quote unquote disinfecting vehicles or sanitizing vehicles or cleaning vehicles. And we've expressed some concerns as an association that it's very important that we communicate to our consumers what we can do not necessarily what we intend to do. There are no tests surrounding whether or not you effectively disinfected or sanitized a vehicle. And so it's really important to learn from experts, such as professional restorers, on things that they've learned in their training in their field so that we can appropriately communicate to consumers what it is that we're doing and not put added liability on our shoulders. So for instance, a collision repair facility may wish to state that they have applied disinfectant, which would be a factual statement that they could back up, where they may not be able to back up saying that they disinfected the vehicle. And so we're going to be speaking with a number of folks who we've learned a great deal from on this topic. Chris Wisnowski is the Vice President of Business Development at Encircle. He guides the technical development of their solutions to ensure that they exceed industry expectations. And he's got 15 years of experience in restoration services, dealing with biohazards in luxury yachts and emergency service vehicles and insurance claim vehicles. We've also got Norris Gerhardt, who's been involved with disaster response mitigation and restoration since 1985. And prior to that, prior to owning his own firm, he was actually the COO for a global bacteria decontamination and infectious disease control company. These are guys who have a tremendous amount of knowledge about what's necessary, what can and can't be done, and professional and reasonable ways to communicate that. So we're really looking forward to it. If you look in the bottom right hand there, the web address for scrs.com/COVID-19 resources, that's actually going to take you to a resource page that SCRS has built, trying to collect information that we have on both those topics of disinfectants and cleaning and workplace safety, along with some of the financial aid documents and things along those lines. But at the top of that page, you'll actually find the sign up for the webinar that I just mentioned. We have a tremendous amount of audience who's expressed interest in it already, and that will be next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. So we hope you can join us for that. Another example of a type of webinar that we've produced in the past is on our multiple employer plan. And not only is it a good webinar topic, but it is a benefit that SCRS has been working on. And I know a number of you may have had the fortune of watching Scott Broaddus make a presentation very similar to this to the RDA audience on the SCRS multiple employer plan. And if you did, this may be a brief recap for you, and apologies if it's a repeat. But for those of you who couldn't attend, I'll give you just a little bit of insight into what our multiple employer plan is and why this type of information is so valuable. And not just to the businesses that you serve, but for many of you as distributors, we believe there's a fit there for you as well. So currently, there is a significant retirement savings shortage in America, and the problem really is greater for those in small businesses. 57 million Americans do not have a workplace retirement plan option, and more than half of those people work in small or private businesses. In 2017, less than half of the employers that had up to 100 workers, so that's most of the types of businesses that we work with, less than half of them offered a retirement plan to their employees. And we as an association really wish to help our industry fix that. We believe it will be an answer to attracting more people into our trade, but to the technical challenges that we have in filling those technical roles as well. We understand that high costs and complexity discourage small businesses from entering into these types of plans. Those are the leading contributors to why they don't participate. And fewer than 20% of companies with less than 50 employees actually even offer a retirement option at all. 71% citing high cost as a primary barrier. And again, we believe that leveraging the size and scope of the association can make a big difference in making it more cost effective, making it less administratively burdensome, reducing down some of the liabilities involved, and really making it a better option both for the business and for the employers and employees. There are several states, and I think this is another contributing factor that really places the priority for us on this. There are several states that have already taken steps to implement a plan with a statewide requirement to have retirement plans. And if a business happens to reside in any one of these states, under certain circumstances, it would be required of the business owners to provide employees with a retirement plan option of their own choice, or to offer the state-run retirement plan. As many as 30 states have already considered creating a state-sponsored retirement program, and as of January of this year, there are 10 states that have enacted legislation establishing a state-sponsored retirement plan. And if you sell products in one of these states, or if you're a collision repairer in one of these states, you really want to be able to help your customers or help your peers gain access to resources like the ones that we've developed. If you look at some of the states, in California being an example, these obligations actually fall on businesses as small as 5 employees. And so we wanted to make sure that as these state plans pass, that businesses we represent have the opportunity to have a good, well thought out plan to turn to, and that we can support them in that way. So really the benefit that it brings is taking size and scope and combining it together. SCRS has a large membership base. We represent nearly 6,000 businesses across the US, and if we can generate more and more businesses to participate, that scope will help bring down and reduce fees for participants. So at $10 million in total aggregate of plans, you're looking at plan fees at roughly about 1%. As that total aggregate continues to grow, you see those plan fees continue to reduce down, which will save money for both, again, the employer and the employee. And this slide was actually taken prior to some of the current events impacting all of our retirement plans. But looking at this, it assumes an employee earns about $40,000 per year and has a $40,000 starting balance. And if you look at, because of the reduction in fees and the performance, if you look at the course of a 30-year balance, an employee participating in the SCRS multiple employer plan, 401k plan, could actually benefit from almost $150,000 additional in additional retirement savings over the course of that 30 years. And that's something great that as an employer, you can go, here's what I can offer you to save for your future. And it's not just about what's in their immediate paycheck, but what goes into their future savings as well. So if you have not watched that webinar, I highly encourage it. You can be found on our website. Melissa, I think it's probably available through your library as well. Is that correct?
It is, yes. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right. So another great source of information is repairer-driven news. Repairer-driven news is an example of ways that SCRS works to keep the industry informed. It is a free news source that is funded by us reinvesting our member dollars into a industry-leading online news platform. If you have not checked it out previously, it is available both online and mobile, and you can get it from the iTunes store, or you can visit it at www.repairerdrivennews.com. We wanted to make sure that the industry had a news source that it could count on, that connected the dots and told the stories that needed to be told. It's how I start my day every day, reading headlines of stories that matter to the industry, and they're often on things that help businesses understand where they need to position themselves and things they need to be concerned about. You will see an option to subscribe at the bottom of the website, and I would encourage you to do so. It's free, and whether you're subscribing to the emails, reading the site, or downloading the app, just know every time you read one of those stories that makes a difference, that you choose to print out and laminate, or that you choose to pass along to your members and your end users, which we certainly encourage, know that it exists because SCRS put those member dollars back to use for the industry. But really, if there are articles in here, there are options to share them within each article. We get so many companies, many just like yours, that go, how can we help? What can we do to SCRS? I can't always show up to national meetings. And I think my answer is almost always help carry the water. So if you see an article that you believe is going to make a difference for your end user, please forward it to them, share it with them, encourage them to share it with their base. But the more you can do to be a conduit to information for them, the more value add you provide on top of the good quality products that you're delivering as well. I think many people are looking to those interactions they have with their distributors to also be a source of information. And I think this is a great way to take information that was developed by collision repairers for collision repairers and to help circulate that information. And again, encourage the subscription. This is what you would get. If you are subscribed, you would get a daily e-blast that looks a lot like this. And normally it's no more than 2 or 3 headlines, really easy to read in the morning, really easy to just pass along. So SCRS's mission is to educate, inform, and represent collision repairers. And certainly, one of the ways repair-driven news represents one of those ways that we inform, but there's a lot of other informational resources that we offer through our website as well. So if you go to scrs.com, you'll see there's a resources tab at the top of the page, and you'll find a lot of good technical information in there as well. So since many of you distribute paint materials, you're probably familiar that a common challenge for collision repairers, especially those who are utilizing CCC, is the bumper refinish prompt and potentially how insurers may be answering it versus how repairers may answer it based on the process. And so this is an example of a type of technical resource that we developed for the industry to help walk through a decision-making flow chart to determine the proper way to answer that bumper refinish prompt and then what the end results will be. And so this is a great type of resource where if you're searching on our website and you find this and you have customers who come to you and are being challenged with that issue, this is something great that you can share along. You're welcome to pass on and to utilize to make you a great source of information for them as well. In addition to documents such as that flow chart and others that we've done relative to welding tests and things along those lines, SCRS has worked to develop an ever-evolving library of reference videos for collision repairers, from videos of our education committee presentations at SCRS open board meetings to comprehensive discussions on topics like corrosion protection or welding considerations or diagnostic work. You can certainly look to our organization for some of the latest information and resources to assist collision repair businesses. You'll also find some really great examples of videos to share, and these three are I think, 3 examples that we believe provides really good information on things like electric vehicle safety, test drives and calibrations, and diagnostic scans. And so these are all under 10 minutes long. They're all things that we believe could bring a great deal of value to your users if you wanted to pass them along. The other thing that we would encourage is for you to look at our YouTube channel. So all of that will be on our website, but you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/SCRS Collision, and that will notify you as soon as new videos become available. And that gives an opportunity, if you, your sales staff, anybody within your business is subscribed and being notified as new videos are released, it actually gives you the opportunity to be out in front of delivering it to your end user first, right? Here's a new video, here's this topic. The example on the bottom is a education program that we delivered at the SEMA show last year. Mike Anderson and Danny Gridenberg with the DEG talking about utilizing the owner's manual to educate on safe repairs. That actually presents a tremendous opportunity for you to provide education back to them and certainly be looked at as a source of valuable information. Those education programs are actually really important to SCRS, and it's part of what we do. And I'd be remiss not to talk about our educational delivery during the SEMA show. These are some images from last year's program. And I've been asked the question a lot this year, obviously, as a result of current events. Will SEMA occur? And I can tell you, I have absolute optimism that it will happen. We are planning on it, and we have developed a really stunning educational program for this year. All of our speakers have been confirmed and notified, and we've had a lot of ongoing dialogue with SEMA and the SEMA show officials about what this year looks like, and we're all very optimistic with the show being 7 months away in November. In a city that's been very proactive about trying to make plans, and so we're very much looking forward to the show this year. But it becomes another mechanism for us to distribute information through the industry, especially in an environment that's very electrifying and gives a lot of energy back to business owners and in making them excited about the work that we do in this business again. So we look forward to the upcoming program. And then one more example of type of information that we put at the fingertips of our members would be our guide to complete repair planning. SCRS recognizes that there's a lot of legitimate operations and services that our technicians provide that have the potential to go unrecognized in the estimate development and the final billing processes. And in 2009, we released this guide to complete repair planning document. And the purpose of it was really to aid repair facility personnel in formulating the most accurate repair plan they could in the estimate preparation process and to minimize the need for supplements. The document was really intended to be used as a guide to develop and maintain processes performed in each individual repair facility and a reminder of steps. And you'll see there are items listed on the side and then blank columns next to it that would allow for collision repairers to identify their own charges or times that are associated with it. But it's a very long document, and one of the pieces of feedback that we received along the way was, this is amazing. There's over 1,000 operations here, potentially missed operations. It has helped me work with my team members to capture much more than we did previously, but it's cumbersome to flip through, this 20+ page document that we've got laminated and sitting on our estimators' desks. And when we update our charges, we've got to reprint it out and go through all these things. If there was any way to automate it, it would make our lives a lot easier. And that was the general piece of feedback that we'd received from the industry over the past 10 years. And so, we really set out to find if there was a way that we could make it a more automated process and present a tool that would really be made, again, for repairers by repairers to audit against repairers' rules. We believe that there are a lot of programs out there that are designed to have collision repairers meet somebody else's rules or requirements, and we really wanted to make sure that we gave them a tool and a resource that was to meet their own rules and requirements and build consistency within their business. And so we have the Blueprint Optimization tool, and SCRS first premiered it at the SEMA show this past year. We were very fortunate to be recognized by the industry with a Best New Product Award at the SEMA show, and the product was set to launch the first quarter of this year. And with current events, things got pushed back just a little bit, but we believe we are just a couple weeks away from the first installations beginning. So Melissa, I'm going to go through and just talk a little bit about what the tool does, give some sneak peeks into how it looks, and then certainly, again, we can answer any questions about it as we go. But the features and functionality of the tool is it automates the guide to complete repair planning via a custom SCRS software application. It will analyze CCC, Mitchell, and Auditex estimates via compliance-based rules engine. However, the first launch is going to be primarily focused on CCC. We needed to start with one platform, and certainly we chose the one that we believed we could, that had the largest market share, and so we would help the largest amount of users. It is absolutely our intention to move forward with the other two products as well. We've provided an organized way to identify and add missed opportunities. And essentially, the program will dynamically cross-reference the written estimate versus the SCRS Guide to Complete Repair Planning. So that nearly 1,200 potentially missed operations, it will dynamically cross-reference against that list. It presents a clear and focused results summary that allows for you to classify high and low frequency operations, and we'll show a little bit about what that means. But it also gives an easy way to capture it in your sheet to avoid potential future supplements. And again, it will allow the results to be output into a summary and insert into the estimate. I think one of the other nice things is the customization of it. It supports individual and multi-shop profiling, and really allows the shop to customize it based on their needs, their charges, and their expectations amongst their estimators. So we're going to take a look at what it looks like. And here's an example, typical estimate, and the lines are analyzed against the blueprint tool. For this demonstration, we're going to be looking at the hood lines. And this is the Guide to Complete Repair Planning. You're going to see that we go to that hood section, and the Blueprint Optimization Tool app results will only display the operations that were omitted from the estimate. So again, one of those pieces of feedback were that it's a bit cumbersome to look at this big long list. And so one of the first things we were able to do was say, okay, if somebody already captured something that was on the list, let's remove it off of there, shorten the list, especially for that section. So the labor operations that were already accounted for will be removed from that process. The operations that may have been omitted are going to be displayed within the Blueprint Optimization Tool app. And this is really what the app will look like. And you'll see on the left-hand side, the list of vehicles. Those are the vehicles that you would have written. The app is going to work. It's going to use a SICA standard tool to pull the information in. And it'll run in the background so that when you're ready to use it, it will all be there. You'll see that it happens very quickly, very seamlessly, and the information is all there at your disposal. So we're going to pick this particular vehicle, this Rogue Hybrid, and when you select it, you'll see that the estimate lines are pulled over into the application. They display all the estimate lines there, just like you're looking at it. And then the estimate operations list the potentially missed opportunities on the estimate that you would have seen in that Guide to Complete Repair Planning. So it breaks it down by section, and you can toggle back and forth between the estimate lines and the estimate operations. So we also have the opportunity to list high frequency and low frequency operations. And high frequency operations are going to be things that you work on more frequently in your shop. Low frequency might be things that you aren't going to expect on every instance or are less frequent. So for example, operations relative to aluminum repair may be a high frequency operation for somebody who is certified in aluminum work and doing a lot of those types of operations. For somebody who is not seeing those may be low frequency, and switching between high frequency and low frequency lists allow the lists to be shorter and less cumbersome for the end user. You can also use the all option, which is going to show all of the potentially missed operations from the guide. But the high frequency, low frequency is customizable based on your facility and what is typical for you. And it's going to be what's going to allow you to make the process just that much more easy and streamlined for your end user, for your estimator or blueprinter, whoever's responsible for that. Okay. This button in the upper right will allow you to see the full Guide to Complete Repair Planning during the process. And then looking at the high impact tab here, we're going to click each link to expand the sections and show the potentially missed operations in each of those sections. All right, so all of these are identified in accordance with the color code of the original Guide to Complete Repair Planning. And you're going to see that body is blue and red is paint and green is structural. We know that many of our users in the past have gotten familiar with that color coding, and we wanted to maintain that consistency. So you'll see that even in the guide, or even in the blueprint tool in the application, we still maintain that color code. So the user can now select the operations that need to be added to the estimate, and they go through and identify. And some of these may be reminders. For instance, one of these was hood labels and how many. So it may be simply a reminder to go and check, were there hood labels? Do we need to capture some? And which ones need to go on the estimate? Where others are more operational and things that will go on the line, like cavity wax or fill sand and feather edge on a repaired hood, things along those lines. So the work file rule will remain on top. So you'll see that this particular the work file that you're going to select the items and it shows up on into that list is going to stay on top. So even when you pull the estimate back up, that's going to be there, and it's going to make it an easy way for you to now go through the process of capturing those things and adding them to the estimate. So the operations can be copied to the clipboard using the work file link right here. And you're basically going to go and paste it to the bottom line, paste each operation to the last line of the estimate, utilizing the part code functionality. And what will happen is, as you add those to to that bottom line, using the part codes, it's going to put it in the appropriate spots on the estimate. So rather than being all at the end of the estimate, where you may have folks that you're looking at the estimate with, such as insurers, who go right to the bottom and go, oh, this is all the fluff or whatever they may be calling it, right? We're going to remove all this. It's actually doing a better job of itemizing it in the estimate. And if you have cavity wax on the fender and on other areas of the vehicle, it's going to list it in each vehicle that you assigned it to, which is going to make it a more thorough blueprint. It's going to make it more instructional for your technician, and it's going to make it a better documentation of what you actually performed by putting these operations in the right place. Items that are database operations, like I talked about, may be a reminder for you to go into the database to select them. You have the opportunity, it'll basically stay there and it'll remind you to do that, and you can go into the system. And then the review is complete. You've added to your estimate, and it basically gives a way for you to build consistency. So if you've got one store and you've got 3 estimators, this is a great way for you to make sure that you are building consistency amongst each of them. If you've got 2 facilities and different people working at both, it's also a way for you to build consistency between those 2 facilities. So it provides the SCRS Guide to Complete Repair Planning in one application, and at the same location as the estimating software. So it keeps you from having it working on a paper product on your desk with the software on your desktop. It allows you to audit those in-house estimates before repairs to minimize the supplements. It establishes consistency and uniformity across multiple users. It also helps promote self-training, and this is one of the things that, as we ran a beta, we found that there were a number of shops who said, this is great. My blueprinters, my estimators, my repair planners, they love it because it makes they were already knowledgeable in the job, but it made it such a more efficient process that they now really love to utilize it. But we've also got folks in our business who may be interested in training up to be a repair planner, and this tool gives them the ability to self-train a bit and learn more about writing more complete estimates or more complete repair plans. And they found that this was a really effective way to let somebody who maybe worked in a different department to learn a bit more about writing a thorough repair plan. And then auditing external estimates to identify overlooked procedures against your own business rules. Okay, so that really covers how the bot works and what it looks like. What I can tell you is, like I said, we really believe that this will be available within the next couple weeks. I'm hoping by the beginning of next month we'll be able to launch it. But if you are interested and you go to our scrs.com/BOT, you'll find this page. And there's a couple things here. First of all, there's a video that walks you through the process that we just took a look at. It's a product video that helps to explain it, but it also gives you a place to sign up. And if you wish to sign up there, you'll be one of the first that's notified when it does become available. We'll certainly let all of our members know. We'll let anybody who signed up as somebody who expressed early interest, we'll let them know as well. And so this gives you the chance, if you signed up, as it becomes available, now you are in a position to help share that with your end users as a good source of information for them as well. But we do encourage everybody to join SCRS to take advantage of the discounted pricing as well. There will be discounted pricing on the product for SCRS members, and it will depend on how many terminals you have and how many locations you have, but certainly the cost of one terminal in one location, the discount for an SCRS member will exceed the cost of SCRS membership. So it's a no-brainer, and we absolutely encourage that. Melissa, any questions that have arisen yet?
We don't. We have no questions. Guys, go ahead and type them in if you'd like to ask Aaron a question.
And no worries, and I can keep continuing. I just wanted to make sure I didn't. I'm speaking fast through all of it, and I didn't want to miss an opportunity to answer. So that's our that particular product, but I think it goes hand in hand with the next one that I want to speak on real quickly as well, which is our database enhancement gateway. And I know that Danny Gridenberg has spoken with you all about that before as well. If you weren't able to be on the program with Danny, I encourage you to go to, again, the RDA library. I know Melissa's got a copy of that as well, but we really understand that estimating databases are resources that directly impact how your business is compensated for its services, and the importance of accurate information is critical. So for more than a decade, we've collaborated with AASP to found, fund, and manage the Database Enhancement Gateway, which is really designed to improve the quality and accuracy of the vehicle-specific collision estimating information. It's done so by going to the website, which is degweb.org, and that website allows you to submit inquiries and essentially challenge any areas where there are potentially errors, omissions, or inaccuracies. So it may be we're missing a part in the database. It may be that this time is not reflective of what we believe is necessary, or the graphic is wrong and needs to be corrected on this particular vehicle. So here's an example of an inquiry. It's a 2018 Toyota Camry. It's a welded panel operation. It's the inner front fender panel, and the shop basically wrote that the replacement of this panel requires 19 plug welds. Squeeze type resistance pot welding cannot be used due to the weld locations. Also requires removal and replacement of the upper cross member extension, and requires removal and replacement of the inner fender reinforcement. And it needs additional time. The response ended up coming back, and you'll see that that's the part circled there in red that we're speaking about. The response came back on this particular inquiry and said that the labor time for the panel has changed from 5.2 hours to 10.6 hours. And I think this is a really important one to highlight, because there are many times where a collision repair business may have a technician come into their repair planner or manager's desk and throw an estimate down and go, I can't do this for that, right? And it's inclination to go, look, we just need to get it done. But the reality is they may not be able to do it for what's in there, because it may not be an accurate reflection of the tasks that are necessary. And if we're able to do a good job of articulating the particular issue, you can see results like this, where there is a change, there is reaction, there is something that changes in the database, and it doesn't just change for that shop, it changes for every other shop who utilizes it in the future. And so I think it goes into a public database that benefits all the industry, and there is a ton of great value that has come from this. There's been, nearly 15,000 inquiries since 2008. And I want to say roughly about 70% of them generate some sort of change or positive resolution as they're asked. And so we really do encourage everybody to take advantage of it. Again, it's another free resource that's there because we've reinvested our members' dollars into developing that. As a member, you'll also see things like these estimating tips. And this is another great example of things that you can share with your user base to basically pass on every Monday. Here's one little tip of information that might be useful in your business. It keeps you relevant and keeps you in front of them, aside from just selling product or services. So in this particular tip, it talks about the material cost to create a template is not included in labor times, for replacing the emblems. And the example in this case would be where the auto manufacturer, their procedure actually requires the making of an adhesive tape template to position the emblem properly every time. And so this is a great tip that helps a collision repair facility recognize some of those non-included items that they could be capturing in their estimate development process. And so with that, if you have members who are interested, these are the membership rates. It's generally $475 a year for a general member, but there is so much value that they can get from utilizing the resources, whether it be things like 401k, whether it be things like reading and digesting that news source that we produce on a daily basis, whether it be estimating tips and resources like the DEG, or whether it be utilization of more complex tools like the blueprint optimization tool. Those are really the types of things that SCRS is working on, trying to resolve issues for the industry and trying to find good resolutions that help businesses perform better. And with that, Melissa, that really concludes most of the information that I wanted to share with your group and the things that we have available. I would encourage everybody, if you have questions, our website is scrs.com. My email, if you would like to reach out to me directly, is very easy. It's Aaron. It's AARON at scrs.com. All of our information is on the website as well. And we're always here to help, member or not. Our goal is to get more information into the hands of collision repairers all across this nation. And if you can be a part of that, we'd like to be there to support
you. We do have one question, Aaron.
Yeah.
They're asking, does the SCRS fee cover all the tools you just described?
It covers everything with the exception of the blueprint optimization tool. The bot tool is an additional add-on service, but it will be discounted for SCRS members. So there's an additional fee for that tool, but everything else are things we produce for free for the industry.
And I'd like to also mention again that we did do 2 of the webinars, the DEG and the MEP, and they are posted on our YouTube channel as well, which you can go to our website. But both excellent tools. The DEG was every one of your shops should be aware of that, and I'm sure once they're aware of it, they'll use it and utilize it. It's a really great resource. I don't see any other questions, so I will follow up with everyone who is on this call, and I will send you Aaron's contact information as well. And look, we do have one more question here. Yep. PowerDriven News. This is a free publication online that I enjoy using. Oh, okay. So there are people out there using a lot of just, yeah. Great. And with that, we really appreciate everybody's time and want everybody to be safe. And we will be in touch with future training opportunities. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Melissa.
Appreciate participation. Take care.